Welcome to the study session where we are breaking down the BCBA 6th edition test content outline. Today we are diving into response maintenance.
And I love this topic because it's the difference between a behavior that sticks and one that fades away the second you stop delivering those edible reinforcers. This is a core part of Domain D, implementation and management, and it shows up in about 10% of the exam. That's roughly 15 questions, and if you don't master maintenance, you're leaving points on the table.
That's a great point. Response maintenance is all about that behavior continuing to occur after the intervention is withdrawn or faded. It's not enough to just get the behavior in the first place, we need it to stick around in the natural environment.
Exactly. And here is where the exam will try to trip you up. They love to ask, which of the following is an example of response maintenance, and then give you something that's really just stimulus generalization or a new behavior. So remember, maintenance is about the behavior persisting over time, not just showing up in a new place.
Right. So let's talk about how we actually program for maintenance. The key is to thin the schedule of reinforcement gradually. You don't just yank the reinforcers away. You go from a continuous schedule to intermittent, and then to natural reinforcers.
I always tell people to think of it like training for a marathon. You don't run 26 miles on day 1. You start with a mile, then 2, then you take a rest day, then you do 3. You gradually increase the distance and decrease the frequency of your rest stops. That's exactly what we do with maintenance, we slowly stretch the time between reinforcers.
And that's where the real-world analogy really shines. Another big one is teaching a child to say, please. You might start by reinforcing every single, please, with a cookie. Then you move to only reinforcing it when the cookie is in sight. Then you only reinforce it when the child is really excited. Eventually, the social praise from mom is enough.
But here is where the exam will try to trip you up again. They'll ask, what is the most important variable in promoting response maintenance? And the answer is not using the most powerful reinforcer. It's making sure the behavior contacts natural reinforcement in the environment. If the behavior doesn't get reinforced naturally, it will extinguish.
That's a huge point. And it ties directly into ethics. We have an ethical responsibility to program for maintenance. If we don't, we're setting our clients up for failure. The behavior might look great in the clinic, but the second they go home, it disappears. That's not a meaningful outcome.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the verbal behavior connection. When you're teaching a man, you want that man to maintain across different listeners and different settings. If the child only says juice when you're holding a juice box in the therapy room, but never at the dinner table, that's a maintenance failure.
So the functional assessment piece is also critical. You need to know what naturally reinforces the behavior in the environment. If a behavior is maintained by attention, then you need to make sure that attention is still available after the intervention ends. If it's maintained by escape, you need to teach the person to access escape in a socially appropriate way.
That's the whole point of the task list item on maintenance. It's not just about keep doing the thing. It's about engineering the environment so the behavior is self-sustaining. And if you can do that, you've done your job as a behavior analyst.
Well said. So to recap, response maintenance is behavior that persists after intervention is removed. You program for it by thinning reinforcement, using natural reinforcers, and ensuring the behavior contacts reinforcement in the natural environment. And the exam will try to trick you by confusing it with generalization.
And don't forget the mnemonic, MAINTAIN, M is for gradually move to intermittent. A is for access natural reinforcers. I is for intermittent schedules. N is for no abrupt removal. T is for train loosely. A is for arrange the environment. I is for include multiple exemplars. N is for never stop monitoring.
I love that. For more practice questions, visit www.bcbamockexam.com.
See ya.
Bye.